Hey guys, it's Edwin here, and today I'm going to talk about childhood emotional neglect or CEN. So, childhood emotional neglect can be defined as the inability of a parent to fully take care of emotional needs of a child in their early days of development. It may involve dismissing or overlooking the emotional needs of a child, which shrinks the child's development or doesn't provide them with an environment where they can thrive and flourish emotionally. Some of the emotional needs of a child are something like support, affection, attention, safety, and inclusion. And the absence of this great emotional support in childhood is what leads to childhood emotional neglect. It is mostly ignored and not even talked about as much because it doesn't display any physical scars like other forms of abuse. And it is just mostly recognized when one has reached adulthood. And emotional neglect is not the same as abuse because some of it happens unintentionally. Like the parent may not be aware that they are neglecting the needs of the child, the emotional needs of the child, or they're not fully meeting the emotional needs of the child. So, what's the difference between intentional and unintentional childhood neglect? Intentional Sen, CN, is where a caregiver may intentionally ignore or dismiss the emotions of their child so as to toughen them up in quotes. So, from the eyes of the parents, it may look like they are really doing a great service to the child because they are building them up to face this tough world, to be a tough person who will be ready to face the tough, challenging world. For example, as a boy, you are told that a man is not supposed to cry or you should man up. So this is quite a common one, and you end up growing with it, and you end up stifling or bottling your emotions because that's what it means to be a man. Like to be a man is to bottle emotions, is not to feel any emotion, just to be kind of emotionless. You may also develop childhood emotional neglect if you are living in this authoritative household, which is full of rules and regulations. And in itself, you'll not be able to express your emotions fully because of the consequences you'd face. So, if you have a strict parent, you may not express your emotions fully. In some other instances, a caregiver may neglect your emotional needs because they are also children of neglectful parents. So they're just taking the parental model of their parents and then using it to parent you. And then they might be also still carrying their own childhood trauma, which were passed on down to them by their parents. So they may not be having any great role models. So it may be unintentional. They don't know what else to do. So they're just trying their best, but they still run short because your actions as a child are even triggering their unresolved trauma. So some parents may not have a lot to give you emotionally because their cups are also empty. There was nothing poured from their parents to their cups. And emotional neglect can also arise when your caregivers are met with strenuous or stressing life events like illness, death, divorce, or job loss or transfers, which makes it really hard for them to be fully present in your life and attend to your emotional needs. So it may be unintentional because of just life circumstances. Also, the current capitalistic system of life, like where we really work so hard, make money and everything, you have to go to work from 8 to 5, get home tired, makes it really hard for parents to be there for their kids and cater for their emotional needs. So it may be intentional or unintentional. The effects of SEN will show up in adulthood and childhood through various symptoms, and the common ones are feeling disconnected, feeling small, numbing your feelings, low self esteem, sensitivity to rejection, feeling like something's missing, or self blame. You will feel that your feelings are invalid or you are unworthy of love and connection. You are unworthy of a healthy kind of love and connection, and which even draws you to toxic relationship. And because of those childhood experiences, you unconsciously identify with being unworthy of love, being unworthy of affection, so as not to feel the pain of being neglected again. So when you feel pain, you develop beliefs that will help you not to feel that pain in the present moment. And a toxic relationship is a place where your emotions are invalidated and your emotional needs are not met. So, if you experience this childhood emotional neglect, a toxic relationship will look like a familiar place you deserve to be in. It will look like this safe place you deserve to be in because your emotional needs are not also being met. And something about the mind is it loves a familiar kind of environment because that's what feels safe to it. And if you find yourself in a normal relationship, you will find it less exciting and you'll even sabotage it unconsciously without you being aware that you are doing it because they do not support those subconscious beliefs like my feelings do not matter. So if you find someone who really shows you affection, calls you, takes you out, just tells you that they love you, you'll feel that it's not exciting because your subconscious beliefs are in the line of my feelings do not matter. So you'll just find a way to sabotage it. So if you've experienced childhood emotional neglect, you will have difficulty with having healthy relationships in the future because of those subconscious beliefs of feeling unworthy of love, feeling unworthy of affection. And when you clear those negative beliefs about yourself because of those past experiences of neglect, you will not be experiencing uncomfortable emotions and thoughts around relationships because beliefs drive your thoughts and emotions. So you will feel that you are deeply free to act as you wish and you've been unburdened from stuck root identifications with the past where your emotional needs were neglected. So when you are exposed to something so negative, you become identified to it. In mind shifting terms, we call these root identifications, like a stuck identity. And then when you have this stuck identity, your beliefs will stem out of this stuck identity. So you will just be holding this belief that me, I'm unworthy of love, I'm unworthy of a healthy relationship. And when you hold those beliefs, your actions and your behaviors will be geared towards like supporting those things you believe about yourself. That's why healing is about resolving those root identifications with the past. Once you dissolve those root identifications with the past, you get to the point where your beliefs are not stemming as a result of your past negative experiences, where you believe that, hey, I'm worthy of love. In conclusion, what's limiting you from living freely is because your belief system or what you believe about yourself is not up to the job of creating the reality you want. So if you manage to transform those beliefs or to clear those false beliefs about yourself because of your past experiences, it will be very easy for you to act, to even leave that toxic relationship, to even find that healthy relationship. Hope that makes sense. That's just what we do now with mind shifting. Hope you found that informative, guys. Until next time, have a nice weekend.